I started off working at a city law firm, and I was doing corporate and M&A kind of work. Exactly how I came to conceive of media law, I can't quite remember, but I think I was just reading an article and someone was talking about somebody suing a newspaper or something, and I thought, you can be a lawyer of the media, you can be a lawyer of newspapers, of this whole world, which I found so interesting already. I didn't really realise you could practice law in it.
So I did history of art for undergrad and masters, and it was a combination of things that made me switch to the bar. During my honours years and during my masters, my focus was on female artists. And essentially the work I was doing was making a case for their inclusion in the canon, in galleries, in the art market. And it was that advocacy side of my work that I was really enjoying.
I think I was expecting it to be probably narrower than it's turned out to be. So the big things that I was aware of were libel and privacy law. And then coming here, you realise that there's actually all these other things like harassment, contempt, freedom of information requests, data protection. I'd heard of these things, but I hadn't really appreciated how big a part of some people's practice those areas are.
The bar appealed because it's also a career that you're constantly challenged. It really excited me, the concept of just that constant stimulation, having to become an expert in subject matters depending on what each case was about. So the bar was the natural shift. During my GDL year, 5RB was on the radar, looking at the application of the Human Rights Act and judicial interpretation. I found incredibly interesting, and 5RB was very much involved in those. I obviously had quite a lot of work to do once I made the switch, because I had no legal experience. So I signed up to the free representation unit. I got involved in mooting just to really get as much experience as possible, and I think that definitely helped.
Yes. With my first supervisor, which is quite a baptism of fire in a way, I ended up in the Supreme Court helping him.
Yes.
And he won, which is fantastic as well. I've noticed that it's certainly a really friendly place. So I'm sure that a lot of places say that open door policy and whatever, but it's absolutely true. Well, probably the area that initially attracted me to media law was the defamation side, and I still think that's an incredibly interesting area to practice in. It's always changing, and there is quite a lot of controversy at the moment, claimants and defendants and who has the advantage. I doubt that controversy is ever going to stop, but I definitely think that's a really interesting area to practice in.
Yes.
Privacy as well. Again, it's one of the sort of bigger, more well-known areas, but I think it's fascinating that it's such a new tort still. It's what you want to be a barrister for, to stand up and make your case.
I'm very interested in the balance to be struck between public and private interests and that intense focus. Yes. And it's not black and white, so really looking into the circumstances of each case and adapting accordingly.